Why you need to quit college. For decades, college was seen as the only path to success. But in 2024, things have changed. If you're smart, you've already recognized this, but most have not. Today, I'm sharing the stories of real people who took different paths, some who went to college and some who didn't, and what they learned along the way. These 10 stories show you why college might not be the best option for you and why it's time to rethink your future. Reason number 1, skyrocketing tuition costs. Let me introduce you to Sarah. She's 19, full of potential, and eager to make a difference in the world by becoming a nurse. But Sarah's dreams hit a wall when she realized how much it would cost to make that dream a reality. At first, she thought college was the only option. After all, everyone around her was saying you need a degree to succeed. But as she moved through her first year at a public university, the weight of tuition payments began to set in. Sarah's school, like many others, raised tuition fees by 5% every year, which didn't even cover the increasing cost of textbooks, housing, and meals. Her parents, who had been paying for her education, were stretched thin. But Sarah didn't want to burden them even more, so she took out student loans. The amount she owed after just 1 year was staggering, and the anxiety of it all began to overshadow her studies. By the time Sarah hit her sophomore year, she started missing payments. The interest on her loans began piling up faster than she could keep track, and she found herself in a vicious cycle of stress and financial worry. One night, she sat down with her financial aid advisor and was told she would be in debt for over 20 years just to pay for this nursing degree. She thought, how can I justify this? She didn't want to graduate with a mountain of debt, but at the same time, dropping out seemed impossible. Eventually, Sarah made the hardest decision of her life. She dropped out. She was crushed, feeling as if she had failed not only herself, but also her family. But here's the truth. Sarah's story is not uncommon. The rising cost of tuition is a major barrier to higher education. Tuition costs have increased by over 213% since 1980, far outpacing inflation. The current system isn't sustainable, and it leaves students like Sarah trapped in debt before they even start their careers. In fact, Forbes reported that in the last decade, student loan debt has increased by over $500 billion. These rising costs aren't just numbers on a page, they have real-world consequences. Reason number 2, the high opportunity cost of college, a tale of two friends. Let me share the story of two friends, Mike and Jake, who both started their journeys right after high school. They were both ambitious and wanted to build successful futures, but they took very different paths. Mike was always told that college was the way to go. His parents were supportive and everyone around him said, get a degree so you'll have a good job. So Mike enrolled in a 4-year business program at a well-known university. He took out loans to pay for it, and for the next 4 years, he focused on his studies. But when Mike graduated, he quickly realized something. He wasn't actually prepared for the real world. Sure, he had a degree, but it didn't equip him with the practical skills he needed. The job offers were slim, and the ones he did get didn't pay as well as he had hoped. Mike ended up working a retail job for a year while he searched for opportunities in his field. Meanwhile, Jake, his best friend, made a different choice. Instead of heading to college, Jake decided to pursue an apprenticeship in carpentry. At 18, he started working alongside skilled professionals, learning the ins and outs of construction, building houses, and gaining valuable hands-on experience. Jake earned money while he worked, and after 2 years, he was making $60,000 a year as a fully trained carpenter. By the time Mike graduated, Jake had not only avoided student loan debt, but he was already well on his way to becoming a foreman, overseeing projects, and even hiring other apprentices. Mike, on the other hand, was still struggling with student loan debt, over $37,000, and facing job insecurity. He realized that the 4 years he spent in college, while not a waste entirely, could have been spent gaining experience and earning a salary like Jake. Jake's apprenticeship was an investment in real-world skills, and he had a clear, lucrative career path ahead of him. Mike's student loan payments, meanwhile, were a constant burden. He wondered if his degree had been worth it, especially when he saw Jake succeeding without the weight of debt hanging over his head. The opportunity cost of college can be high. For Mike, those 4 years in school came with a hefty price tag, and they didn't necessarily bring him any closer to his career goals. Jake, on the other hand, didn't just avoid debt, he jumped straight into a high-demand field, earning money, gaining real-world experience, and fast-tracking his career. This story is a perfect example of how the traditional path of college might not always be the best choice. By the time Mike realized that experience trumps theory, Jake was already building a future that didn't rely on taking out loans and waiting for years to find his footing. Reason number 3, crippling student loan debt. Did you know that student loan debt in the US has hit a staggering $1.7 trillion? That's more than credit card and auto loan debt combined. This is an issue that's only getting worse. Take Liam's story. He graduated a few years ago with a degree in marketing. He thought, I'll land a great job, pay off my loans, and be free. Fast forward to today, and Liam is working a mid-level job with a starting salary of $40,000. His student loan payment is $500 a month, and it seems like no matter how hard he works, he's just treading water. Here's a shocking stat. The average student loan debt for a graduate in 2024 is nearly $40,000, and a significant number of people are still paying their student loans well into their 30s and 40s, often with interest rates that make it harder to make a dent in the principal. The long-term impact of this debt is serious. Many people delay purchasing homes, starting families, or even saving for retirement because they're saddled with student loan debt. According to a study by the Federal Reserve, 43% of borrowers say they are struggling to make their student loan payments. Reason number 4, growing accessibility of online education. In the past, going to college meant you had to sit in a classroom for hours, but that's changing. Meet Nina. She always dreamed of working in tech, but couldn't afford the price tag of a 4-year degree. So she turned to online education. Nina enrolled in a $300 coding course at Coursera, and within 6 months, she had landed a full-time job as a junior developer making $70,000 a year. She didn't need to rack up tens of thousands of dollars in debt. She just needed to learn the right skills. In fact, online education has grown significantly, offering certifications in areas like tech, design, marketing, and more. LinkedIn Learning has reported that the demand for skilled workers is growing, and these courses are allowing people to earn certifications that companies actually value. Reason number 5, shift toward trade skills and apprenticeships. Not everyone needs a degree to succeed. Miles, for example, skipped college and pursued an apprenticeship in welding. At 25, Miles makes over $80,000 a year and owns his own truck and equipment. No debt, no student loans, just a hands-on trade that's in high demand. In fact, skilled trades like plumbing, electrical work, and HVAC are some of the highest paying jobs that don't require a college degree. The United States Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that these workers have job security and demand that outpaces many other fields. Reason number 6, diminished ROI on degrees. Lisa's story is an eye-opener. She graduated with a degree in biology with hopes of going into environmental science. But after months of applying for jobs, she couldn't land anything in her field. Instead, she found herself working at a coffee shop, making just enough to cover her student loan payments. A recent study by The Atlantic found that 41% of college graduates are working in jobs that don't require a degree. This means they're not using the skills they learned, and their degree isn't adding value to their career. Reason number 7, rise of entrepreneurship and the gig economy. You don't have to go to college to start a successful business. Take Alex, who started an online store selling custom t-shirts at age 16. By the time he was 20, he was making over $150,000 a year. No college degree, no student loans, just a good idea and the hustle to make it happen. The gig economy is growing faster than ever. With platforms like Uber, Fiverr, and Etsy, you can start making money and building a business with minimal upfront costs. And as Mark Zuckerberg, a college dropout, once said, the biggest risk is not taking one. Reason number 8, corporate shift towards skills over degrees. Today, companies like Google, Apple, and IBM are shifting away from requiring college degrees for many of their positions. These companies are focusing on skills, coding, project management, digital marketing, and not the traditional 4-year degree. Sam, for example, wanted to work in IT, but he couldn't afford a degree. Instead, he completed Google's $300 IT certification and landed a full-time job at a tech company that paid over $70,000 a year. As a result, employers are increasingly recognizing that your skills matter more than your degree. In fact, Fast Company published an article highlighting how these companies are leading the charge in valuing real-world skills over formal education. Reason number 9, lack of real-world experience in college curriculum. Many college graduates find themselves saying, I learned a lot, but I'm not sure how any of it applies to my job. Take John, a business major who spent 4 years learning about management theory. But when he joined his first company, the reality of office work felt like a foreign world. College often focuses more on theory than on practical skills, leaving students ill-prepared for the workforce. According to a survey by the National Association of Colleges and Employers, only 43% of employers said that college grads are well prepared for their jobs. Reason number 10, mental health struggles in college. Finally, let's talk about mental health. College can be overwhelming. Take Emily, who struggled with anxiety throughout her freshman year. The pressure of assignments, social expectations, and the looming threat of debt took a huge toll on her mental well-being. After dropping out, she found a job she loved and enrolled in a part-time course that better suited her pace. The American College Health Association reports that nearly 40% of college students struggle with mental health issues like depression and anxiety, making it clear that the college experience can be harder than it seems. Thanks for watching. The world is changing fast, and it's time to rethink the way we approach education. If you've got questions or want to share your story, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Benjamin Adams with American Money 101. Until next time, God bless.